Ain't got a dime to my name. What a terrible shame. Ho hum, ho ho hum. Just found a hole in my shoe and my stocking shows through. Ho hum, ho 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 ho.
Hi, I'm David Duncan and welcome to Bing Crosby, The Hollywood Years. Well, it had been 4 years since the public had set off with Bing, Bob and Dorothy on the road to Morocco, and another laugh-filled adventure was just what everyone needed. Actually filmed in early 1944, The Road to Utopia had the boys chasing after Dorothy and a gold mine in Alaska. Having the most structured script to date, The Road to Utopia is often looked upon as one of the best in the series.
Come on, Pa, come on.
Oh, but Ma, Doc says I can stay up till 1:30.
I know, but by the time we get your ears washed and your teeth put away...
Yeah. Oh, all right.
Told in flashback, we see that Bob has finally succeeded in getting the girl, as the three reminisce about their adventures many years before.
And I thought this was going to be an A picture.
Well, you remember when it all started. Chester and I were playing San Francisco.
Everybody here knows Good Time Charlie. Charlie is a perfect clown. Always kills the folks with funny jokes and turns the parlor upside down.
I told you we'd have a gold mine. I saw it in the cards.
Yeah, those beautiful cards, riding down Fifth Avenue.
Throwing $50 bills at the round haircut.
We'll be living like kings.
Living like kings, huh?
Sure, we'll be... I abdicate.
Getting mixed up with two ruthless killers, Bing and Bob steal their map to a gold mine and take their place to avoid detection from the authorities.
Marty.
Sperry.
And McGurk.
Sperry and McGurk. Sperry and McGurk.
Couple of strangers in town. Hello, boys. You new in town?
Yeah.
Join me in a drink?
Don't mind if we do.
What'd you have?
Oh, a couple of fingers of rot gut.
What's yours?
I'll take a lemonade. In a dirty glass.
And when Salome danced and had the boys entranced, no doubt it must have been easy to see that she knew how to use her personality.
As always, the film is filled with fun routines and songs, but it's also interrupted every now and then by narration from Robert Benchley, who was a well-known newspaper columnist at the time.
Now, someone in what is known as the front office has thought that an occasional word from me might help to clarify the plot and other vague portions of the film.
Now, this narration may have been funny in 1946, but it's not relevant to today's audience and tends to slow the film down. Indeed, these segments were actually filmed and included as an afterthought once principal photography was finished. Also, sadly, Robert Benchley never saw the finished film, as he died before it was released.
Come on, mush, mush!
That fire's pretty important, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Makes the boat go, doesn't it?
That's right.
Supposing it goes out.
Supposing it does.
I'm ready.
Oh, well, that's... Pardon me. Hey. Hey, what do you do around here? Nothing?
You in this picture?
No, taking a shortcut to stage 10.
Due to the success of the previous films, some of the gags are really pushed to the limit as the fourth wall is constantly broken and talking fish and animals turn what was a funny and unsuspected moment in The Road to Morocco to feeling a bit forced and overplayed.
Hey, Bud, where's your partner?
Oh, he just stepped into the cat.
Huh? Just tell him 15 was here.
A fine thing. A fish they let talk. Me, they won't give one stinking line.
Welcome to my dream. And how are you? Will you be here long? Or just passing through?
Also, whilst all the songs were pleasant enough, some were not up to the usual standard, with the exception being the light-hearted number, It's Anybody's Spring.
You think that money is everything, and yet it's anybody's spring. Go make a fortune, become a king, and still it's anybody's spring. You couldn't buy a ticket to hear the first robin sing. It's free because it's anybody's spring.
Bing and Bob had 2 songs together, but the best would have to be their rendition of what would become their most famous duet, Put It There, Pal.
I don't care where I'm going, just as long as I'm with you. Put it there, pal. Put it there.
You know, I saw Let's Face It.
Yes, and I saw Dixie, too.
Big picture, huh? Put it there, pal. Put it there.
This country's full of wolves, but you should make 'em laughing stocks. The girls are fond of blubber, and the igloos have no locks.
Oh, you'll wow the lady Eskimos. They don't wear bobby socks.
We make a perfect pair.
Put it there.
My colleague.
My crony.
My cohort.
My friend.
Companion.
Confederates.
Chums to the end.
Like meat and potatoes.
Or salt and tomatoes.
Boy, what a plan. Don't put it in the paper. Don't put it on the air. Don't put it on the shelf. Put it there.
Now the film also has the most risque ending to any of the road films, and as Bob Hope stated years later, it's a wonder how they got it past the censors.
Chester has been a devoted husband and a fine father.
Father? You have children?
One, a boy. Would you like to see him? Junior?
Did you call me, Mom?
We adopted him.
You know, I remember watching The Road to Utopia as a kid, and I thought the ending was funny because Bing was playing the part of the son. However, I had no idea what that implied. As an adult, it's plainly clear and very funny, but, you know, maybe that's why it was allowed. It was just too sophisticated for kids to understand, and therefore deemed to be not offensive. The Road to Utopia was a huge hit, as expected, and kept both Bing and Bob Hope at the top of the list of the most successful film stars of the year. Next up for Bing, it was onto the big-budget Technicolor film featuring the music of Irving Berlin, called Blue Skies. However, getting the film made was anything but. After the success in 1942 of the film Holiday Inn, with its wonderful score by Irving Berlin, Paramount was on a winner when it signed him up again to provide the music for Blue Skies, which also teamed Bing up again with Fred Astaire. Now it was an obvious choice of casting, as the two had worked so well together previously, but it didn't start out that way. The tap dancer, Paul Draper, was originally cast opposite Bing. Now, Paul Draper wasn't that well known, but Bing had admired his dance work enough to approve the casting. Bing was actually mainly focused on the inclusion of an up-and-coming actress called Joan Caulfield. Now it was with his insistence that she was cast as the love interest, even though she couldn't really dance. Paul Draper wanted Joan Caulfield out of the film because of this, but he also had an affliction of his own, a really bad stutter. Well, it wasn't too long into filming before Bing apparently went up to the front office, and before anyone knew it, Paul Draper was out and Fred Astaire arrived on the lot. Now, although it was a tough break for Paul Draper, it was artistically and commercially the right choice. The story is rather straightforward and is told in flashback by Fred Astaire as a radio announcer who relates the love triangle between himself, Joan Caulfield's character, and Bing.
For tonight, as I promised, we're going to turn back some of the pages of Irving Berlin's album of songs. Songs that, somewhat like footnotes to history, reflect an epoch in American life. To most of us, more simply, they bring back a multitude of memories. To me, they bring back a story which I'm going to relate tonight. Hello. Don't forget, we're going out tonight.
The telling of the story allows for the staging of more than 20 songs by Berlin, as Bing plays a nightclub owner who is constantly buying, remodeling, and then selling the clubs.
Johnny, take a look at this girl.
Thank you. I like looking at her.
Joan Caulfield is being wooed by Fred Astaire's character, but meets Bing and quickly falls in love.
Jed, I would say definitely the back of those pretty blue eyes is a very attractive brain.
Thank you, sir.
All by myself in the morning, all by myself in the night.
At first things go well and the two of them marry and have a child. But Bing never seems to sit still. He's always wanting to move on to new ventures.
Johnny, look at that sky. It's going to storm.
No, not for us, honey.
Never saw the sun shining so bright. Never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, my, how they fly.
Now Joan Caulfield's character wants stability, and Bing can't offer her that, so eventually the marriage falls apart.
But this time I want my way. I insist that you don't sell.
You insist? That's a pretty strong word.
It's the way I feel. And if our marriage is going to
Our
last...
marriage? You mean this can make a difference?
Yes, Johnny, it can.
Well, it can't be much of a marriage.
Well, is it?
What kind of a question is that?
The perfume of roses in May.
However, in the end, the couple are reunited in the hope of better times ahead.
To my room in December, come out of the past where thorn roses sing below. You keep coming back like a
Now, despite the lack of storyline, the film delivers as far as entertainment is concerned, thanks to Bing, Fred, and the wonderful songs by Irving Berlin.
Everybody step to the syncopated rhythm. Let's be going with them when they begin. You'll be saying, yes, sir, the band is grand. He's the best professor in all the land.
Why don't you travel with us on the train or a bus to Miami, where we can begin to plan a wonderful trip on a plane or a ship that'll take us from Florida to Havana. See you in the C-U-B-A.
Lots of speed was surely bound to fail. For morning, noon, and evening, he'd be chasing his own tail. He was running around in circles, getting nowhere. Any bonds today? Bonds of freedom, that's what I'm selling. Any bonds today? Scrape up the most you can. Here comes the freedom man, asking you to buy a share of freedom today. This is the Army, Mr. Jones. No private rooms or telephone. You had your breakfast in bed before, but you won't have it there anymore. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry
In what proved to be one of the high points in the film, this Irving Berlin song provided the perfect collaboration for these two great song and dance men.
In us you see a couple of song and dance men.
I'm the song,
I'm the dance. For laughter, joy, and happiness we're advance men.
with a song
And the dance,
I sing for my supper,
I dance for my lunch.
I croon when the landlord comes around.
For miles around the women and children pass out cold
When my voice hits the air
and my feet hit the ground.
And whilst we tend to focus on Bing's achievements in this series, I have to mention the staging of the fabulous number Puttin' on the Ritz, where Fred Astaire proves once again he really was the master of dance.
the perfume of roses in May.
Nothing but
Returns to my room.
Blue Skies is still an enjoyable film to watch due to its combination of star power, music and production value, all photographed in glorious Technicolor. It again proved to be a massive hit for Paramount and kept Bing up on top of the polls as the #1 film star in America for the 3rd year running. And there were more classic Crosby films on the way. And that's where we'll pick up in the next episode of Bing Crosby, The Hollywood Years. I'll see you then.